This week, I studied capacity, illegality, and third-party rights. If a minor enters a contract, the contract is voidable, not void. This means that a 16-year-old can enter a contract, but can also end the contract at will, known as disaffirmation. In other words, the adult party to the contract cannot enforce the contract, but the minor can choose to do so. While reading this week's text, the difference between delegation and novation becomes apparent. There are two ways to transfer contractual duties, but they work differently regarding liability and obligation. Delegation occurs when one party transfers their duty to perform under a contract to another party. Still, the original party remains liable if the delegate fails to perform. Novation involves an entirely new contract where the original party is released from liability and the latest party takes on the contractual obligation. In novation, all parties must agree to the new agreement arrangement. While studying the case study this week, I learned about motion for mistrial. It is a request made during a trial, typically by one of the parties, the defense or prosecution in a criminal case, or the plaintiff or defendant in a civil case, asking the judge to end the trial before a verdict is reached due to some serious error or problem that makes it impossible for the trial to proceed fairly. The issue of capacity. The law protects minors if they enter into contract before the age of 18. There are some exceptions to this general rule. The first involves contracts for necessities. Minors are generally liable for the cost or fair value of necessities, usually defined as food, medicine, clothing, or shelter. A second exception involves ratification. This occurs when the minor enters a contract while a minor, but then turns 18 years old and continues under the terms of the agreement. A final limited exception involves cases where the minor lied about his or her age. When a minor claims to be an adult and the adult reasonably believes the mispresentation to be true, the trend is to deny the minor's attempt to dissolve-forming the contract. For mental illness and insanity, the general rule is that a contract entered by a mentally ill individual is voidable by the person when he or she is no longer mentally ill. If a person has been found to be insane by a court, then any contract made by that person is void, not merely voidable. Intoxication refers to individuals suffering the effects of drugs or alcohol. If a person is only partially drunk and has some understanding of the agreement, avoidance depends on showing that the other party caused the drunkenness or that the terrible terms are unfair. For illegality, the courts will not enforce an illegal agreement. The illegal agreement is void, and the courts will not enforce the contract, even if the wrongdoer benefits the other party's detriment. An exception, however, involves excusable ignorance. If a woman agrees to marry a man not knowing that he is already married, the marriage is void and she can sue him for damages. Third-party rights. For assignment of contract rights, an assignee acquires the rights to receive the benefit of the contract. The assigner may assign any rights unless it would materially change the obligation of the obligor, increase the risk involved, or diminish the value of the contract. Assignment is forbidden by law, or the contract states that assignment is not allowed. To create an assignment, the assigner must make the assignment known. It can be created just as contracts are made. Delegation of duties. The obligor who delegates a duty does not escape liability for performing. There are a number of non-delegable duties. The first involves personal service. If the contract specifies that I'm the only one to perform or the other party expects only me to perform, I can simply ask someone else to step in. Duties cannot be delegated if the contract forbids it because we respect the parties' agreed upon terms. Finally, public policy may prohibit certain delegations. This is the summary for capacity, legality, and third-party rights. Thank you.